Okay, so we're going to start working on your guys' homework for your similarity notes, day 6. Okay. All right, looking at this, we have to make sure that we're matching correct sides. All right, so we need to find the missing sides of triangle DEF. So we can see one of them here is DE and the other one here is DF. Okay. We can simply do this in a couple different ways. We can determine the scale factor, or you can set up proportions. I'm going to show you how to set up the proportions. Okay, so remember, when we're setting up proportions, they have to match. Okay, BC here, which is choice 2, and then choice 3 here, should match EF, which we're assuming EF, but it matches by looking at it up here. It's in the second position and the third position. Okay, so I'm going to set that up as my normal proportion. 14 over 35 should equal, and let's find DE first. Okay, now remember, this was the small over the big, so that means I should be setting it up the same way here, small over big. So if I'm finding DE, its matching side 1, 2 would be matching side 1, 2, which is AB. Here's AB. So that'd be 10 over DE. So from here, you should be able to solve it. I'll make it a little bit more obvious. You cross multiply here. 14 DE will equal 350. That's what you get when you do 35 times 10. And then you guys should be able to solve that to find the missing side for DE. Now, I would do the same thing to figure out DF. Okay, I'm going to do 14 over 35. So small over big is going to equal 20 AC. Remember, A to C is 1 to 3, and that's going to match D to F 1 to 3. So that's going to be small over big of DF. And again, we would cross multiply to solve. So you're going to get it 14 DF will equal 700. And then you would solve it from there. If you need further assistance, I'll be available in class. Okay. All right, so let's take a look here. Okay, in the diagram below, triangle MNP, which that means must be my original. Okay, M to N to P has been dilated by an unknown scale factor to produce M to Q to R. We want to know which of the following is an incorrect statement. Okay, meaning which of these is not set up correctly. Well, let's take a look. MNP, MNP, MQR. Yep, that one's good. That one is a correct statement. Okay. Now I want you to work through the rest of these and make sure that they're matching. So for example, let me do 4. M to N, that is the small. And M to N, first, second, and third position. First, second, and third position. Okay. MQ is the big, and we have to see, does that match? Well, let's check. M to N is 1, 2. M to Q is 1, 2. Let's check MR. MR is the big. MR is 1 to 3. Over MP is the small of 1 to 3. So that's kind of how you're doing it. You're making sure that the numbers match, and you need to make sure that you have to have it set up correctly. So I'm going to leave that one as that. Hopefully you can figure out what the answer is. Okay. On number 3, they're telling us these two triangles are similar, and hopefully you can see two triangles, A to B to C and back. So when I start with A, we're talking about angle 1, B would be angle 2, and C would be angle 3, in that order. Versus E to D to C, okay, meaning E is angle 1, D is angle 2, and C is angle 3. Okay, and I can also kind of label the sides that way. A to B would be my first piece, B to C would be my second piece, A to C would be my third piece. And doing the same thing here. E to D would be my first piece, D to C would be my second piece, and E to C would be my third piece. That's how they match. A matches with D, E. And again, they try to trick you because they did them out of order here. Instead of doing C, D, E like most would assume, they did it out of order, and that's why it's important to pay attention to that order. So AC is 10. That's the big. So that would be 10 over AB. AB, okay, that would be your 6. So we're going to just 10, 6, CE, C to E was 7, D to E is 3. Okay. What you want to do is set up proportions and see if they match. Okay, set up your proportions and see if they match. Okay, so big over its matching side of small, so 3 matches with 3, so we would do 10 over 7. Okay. And then we would match A to B, which I apologize, is 6 there. That's the big, over its corresponding side, which would be the other one that has a 1 mark on it, would be 3. And then we would test this. What's 10 times 3 and 6 times 7? Does that match? Nope, that doesn't. So it's not 1. Okay. So take your time and work your way through the rest of these to make sure that you're getting the correct matching sides set up. Okay. All right, on to the next one. In the diagram below, triangle ABC is similar to ADE. So that means we went from being small to being big. If AB is 12, BD is 8, AC is 18, and CE is 12, then what's the scale factor? What I want you to pay attention to is that generally we would do big over small equals big over small. But when they only gave you BD, that's neither the big or the small. Neither is CE. That's neither the big or the small. So we need the big. The big would be a combination of both of these. That becomes 30. And the big here would be 20. Okay, so as I need to set this up, it would be big over small, 20 over 12. But what I need to figure out is the scale factor. So I need to go from the small to the big. So I'm going to erase this. I need to go 12 times what is equal to 20. That's how we figure out the scale factor. To figure out how much bigger am I getting. Let's divide that by 12. Okay, so I'm going to do my calculator. 20 divided by 12. And it gives me a decimal. So what I'm going to do is math, enter, enter, and it converts me to a fraction of 5/3. So this one was a little bit more tricky because your cell phones can't do that, but here's your answer. Okay. All right, now on to the extra credit. This is just like we did in class. So the one thing that may be helpful is I'm just going to start you off by labeling these. 1, 2, 3. D is 1, E is 2, and F is 3. Now remember, it's a sequence, so it means more than one. And if you take a look, from ABC to DEF, it got smaller. So your first sequence would probably be a dilation. Okay. So for this one, it might be helpful if you're going to be able to determine the scale factor after centered at the origin. Well, here's the origin here. So if you're trying to figure out that scale factor, either you could determine the length of a segment, or you could figure out the slope. If you figure out the slope between D and F with its matching A to C, you should be able to figure out the scale factor of how much this increased by. Okay, how many times did it multiply by? If you need extra help, please see me after school.